Mulan is finally headed to Disney Plus for
Yes, I heard about
$30, which is $30 on top of the $7 or whatever that you're spending for your subscription.
that. You mean the subscription to D Plus?
Yeah, so essentially it's about $40. So this is according to CNN Business. Disney's Mulan has been delayed multiple times this year because of the coronavirus outbreak, but audiences will finally be able to see the blockbuster soon. It just may not be in theaters. Well, yeah, your headline just gave that away. Thanks. Disney announced on Tuesday that the remake of the 1998 animated classic will be heading to Disney Plus, the company's new streaming service, for an additional fee of $29.99. The film will be available on September 4th. Bob Chapek, Disney's CEO, said the pandemic has forced the company to think of different approaches to better serve customers. He says, and I quote, "We thought it was important to find alternative ways to bring this exceptionally family-friendly and PG-13 film to them in a timely manner," he said at the company's third quarter earnings call, which was a bit of a disaster. I'm skipping it down to just say the overall sales for the company fell 42% to $11.8 billion, which, so, you know, it still might sound like a lot of money, but holy crap, for a massive juggernaut like Disney, that's significant. I saw a lot of rumors online that big layoffs are coming soon, and if that happens, the only thing I can say is I'm holding out hope for the workers. But as far as Mulan is concerned, I think it's interesting that is the film that they're gonna that's gonna be the first to be pushed to Disney Plus in this manner, being that it wasn't the first Disney film on the slate to come out this year that was delayed.
Well, right, but I think that's because, you know, if you're in China, which is to whom this movie is trying to be primarily marketed, I mean, if you know anything about consuming entertainment and things like that, obviously, you know, China is another big market, probably the second biggest to the US, and they're taking the calculated risk that the US is you know, not going to be back to the theaters anytime soon. I say calculated risk, I mean sheer likelihood that, okay? So with all that in mind, you know, they're kind of shoving the American market to stream. I could argue as a possible experiment situation, $30 a pop. Let's see who's dumb enough to pay that, right?
For a live action Disney remake. Yay.
Yeah, exactly. But they're still getting their theater action everywhere else, you know, that was smart enough to wear a damn mask. So, I mean, I think that's the angle they're taking. Rather than waiting on releasing this film and trying to be a part of the log jam they're in, they're going to do, listen, if Trolls World Tour can do what it did, why not take a calculated risk with a known property?
But that's what's interesting about this particular film is that it's only coming out in this manner to one singular streaming service. Or Trolls World Tour was cross-platform. Now, Jim brings up the point I was about to make. He said that wasn't Black Widow supposed to come out first? And he also says that you made a fair point. My thing with this is I think that Mulan ended up being a target just because it was China and the specific political agitation with China, especially due to the fallout from the coronavirus outbreak. I think that having a film that celebrates China coming out right now, especially since the agitation between many countries of the West and the East are growing between China. I think that this is a calculated move by Disney to push this to this platform, because Mulan, it's not like it's a small film. It's a $200 million budgeted film.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see if it can recoup even a little bit of that loss through here. I might be completely wrong. It might explode and make more money than you can ever imagined. I don't think that this is a property that's gonna do that specifically, but I think that a lot of the reason this happened has to do with politics.
No, sure. I mean, if I'm not going to get into it, but let's just say if you're aware of certain semi-nefarious things that the Chinese are currently doing, especially something John Oliver may have featured on Last Week Tonight at any time in a couple weeks here, if that starts to come to a head, maybe the cynical way to look at it is Disney is getting it into the Chinese market before anything flares up surrounding any retaliation to anything the Chinese are doing within their borders, or involving Hong Kong or any of that. I mean, previously the NBA has had their own issues dealing with China and in a similar fashion too. So I wouldn't be shocked if Disney was trying to kind of ram this one down the pike, or the spear, to keep it consistent with Mulan's weaponry. But and this could be an effort to get that in there, to make sure they can cash in. You mentioned the big price tag. But let's be honest, I have no reason to believe it'll fail. And not for nothing, Demos, of the remakes, this one is the most compelling to me that I've seen so far. We heard, for example, Be Prepared was not going to be included in its proper form in the live action Lion King. I became completely disinterested. And that's even before they released that Seth Rogen was going to be in the movie. So I'll leave that all alone. Then the other, some of these other ones I just wasn't interested in to the same extent. I saw who was playing Gaston in Beauty and the Beast and dismissed it rightly.
He's getting his own series.
Who, Gaston?
Yeah, it's going to be called Little Town or something on Disney Plus. The Gaston series.
Is it going to be like...
It's him, Luke Evans, I believe, yeah.
Like, no one, like that guy?
Well, the guy from the live action remake, Luke Evans, is doing it. I think I killed you somehow.
No, you've not killed me, but you've made me angry enough to consider taking another human life. I'm kidding. I just want to punch something.
Who was the last guy you took out? LeFou?
Maybe. No,
it's a little short-sighted of you.
Quick tip for those who haven't yet: look up Deadpool Gaston parody.
Yes,
you'll thank me later.
That was really good. I don't know. What I will find interesting is to see, especially with, and once again, I don't want to delve too much into politics on this show, but given the situation, given the situation that is happening in Hong Kong and the Free Hong Kong movement and so forth, it'd be interesting to see what happens with Hong Kong Disneyland. And how that's caught in the. But then again, Disney does have a relation with China because they do have Shanghai Disneyland. It'll be interesting to see what the fallout is, especially since Bill Barr specifically called out Disney and its relations with that country. Specifically called out a lot of American entertainment companies, plus more, about their relations with China. It's a developing story.
I mean, hey, Ricky Gervais did it at the Golden Globes too. Am I right?
But he's a little bit more sardonic than I, but nevertheless.
True.